How to avoid Python virtual environment activation errors. Are you tired of running into frustrating errors when trying to activate your Python virtual environments? You're not alone. Many developers face this issue, but the good news is that there are straightforward ways to avoid these problems. Let's break it down step by step. First, it all starts with creating your virtual environment correctly. Use the command python venv myenv, where myenv is the name of your environment folder. This command sets up an isolated Python environment with its own libraries, which helps prevent conflicts between different projects. Once your environment is created, activating it is the next step. The command you use depends on your operating system. If you are using Linux or macOS, type source bin activate. For Windows command prompt, the command is myenv plus scripts plus activate. If you are using Windows PowerShell, you may need to adjust the execution policy first. Run PowerShell as an administrator and execute set execution policy remote signed scope process. After that, you can activate it with plus myenv plus scripts plus activate PS1. Now, let's talk about some common activation errors and how to avoid them. One frequent issue is using the wrong command syntax. For instance, using the command source in Windows command prompt or PowerShell will lead to errors. Always ensure you are using the correct command for your platform. Another common problem is file permission issues. If you encounter access denied errors on Windows, check the permissions of the scripts folder inside your virtual environment. You may need to grant your user full control through the folder properties and security settings. If you are using Windows PowerShell, execution policy restrictions can block script execution by default. Changing the execution policy temporarily for your session with set execution policy remote signed allows activation scripts to run smoothly. Sometimes the Python venv module or its dependencies might be missing, especially on certain Linux distributions. If this happens, install the necessary packages, such as Python 3 venv, using your package manager. Another thing to keep in mind is Python version mismatches. If you create a virtual environment with one version of Python but your system uses a different version, it may not activate correctly. Always ensure that the Python interpreter you are using matches the version used to create the virtual environment. To make your life easier, consider using an integrated development environment, or IDE, like Visual Studio Code or PyCharm. These tools can remember and automatically activate your virtual environment, which reduces the chances of manual activation errors. Avoid mixing shell types. Stick to one shell environment per project to prevent confusion and errors. After activating your virtual environment, check your shell prompt. It should show the environment name, like myenv, and the Python interpreter path should point to your environment folder. If you still face issues, it might be best to recreate the virtual environment. Delete the old one and create a new one to ensure a clean setup. By following these simple guidelines, you can minimize activation errors and keep your backend development workflow smooth and efficient. Whether you are working with APIs, databases, or server-side logic using Python frameworks like Django or Flask, these tips will help you stay on track.